What's your name?
What?
What is your name?
Tony!
You, Tony?
What's your name?
Ezekiel!
You, Ezekiel!
You!
You!
All right, so there was our opening right there. How about that, Thor? Yeah, did you have fun doing that? All right, so special thanks to our neighbor dog Stag for helping us out with that one, right, boy? All right, welcome comic lovers to the show. Okay, so what are we doing this week? Well, we are talking about.
This is EMoney. I'm the old man.
Oh, right, almost forgot that part. Sorry. Yeah, I'm EMoney. This is the old man, and here is Thor, the dog of thunder. Hey, are you drooling? Are you chomping at the bit to get at those snacks? You've already had a lot of snacks.
These snacks?
Yeah.
These snacks?
Yeah.
Do you want one of these snacks? Well, there's a few things in here. What is that? What is that? Is that yours or mine?
Looks like jerky to me.
You want it? Okay.
All right, so what are we talking about this week? Well, we are talking about some big announcements going on at Marvel. We are going on.
It seems like it's always Marvel.
Yep. We're talking about some feelings being shared about one of the stars of an upcoming DC film. And also, we're recapping She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and also, gauging what all the people online are saying. Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, like She-Hulk says, we leave it up to the internet. All right, so we're going to do that. And then also, we're going to be doing comic book reviews and previews. And then also, we're going to be giving you guys a preview of our final pop-up comic shop of the season.
I have mixed feelings about that. I enjoy doing them, but man, I'm not going to miss getting up early every Saturday. I'm not going to miss being out here in the cold.
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss when it's hot as Hades out here either.
So we're going to be doing that and also telling you guys about our big blowout. I mean, that's the final pop-up shop, but we also have our big blowout at the end of this month, which is the Creature Feature show in Shepherdsville. So we're going to be doing all that and more. All right. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. She smashes fourth walls and bad endings, and occasionally Matt Murdock. Oh, this is Back Issues. All right, so before we get started today, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up, and if you like, leave us a comment. You can let us know what you think of some of these stories, or you can just say hi. Also, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. We just passed 900 a little while ago. I think it's still 900, I hope. So, help us reach 1,000, guys. All right, so on to comic book, movie, TV news, whatever I feel like talking about this week. So first up, it seems that it has been confirmed that Harrison Ford will be joining the MCU as General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
Okay, that's all good and everything, and it's cool. But is he going to become the Red Hulk?
Okay, well, I'm going to get to that in just a second.
Okay.
Ford will, of course, be taking over the role from the late, great Mr. William Hurt.
Man, he was good, too.
Yep. So Ford will be making his debut in Captain America New World Order, which is set to release in early 2024. And then he's going to be playing a much larger role in that summer's Thunderbolts movie.
Sounds like he's going to be the Red Hulk.
Well, there is no confirmation right now as to whether Ford's General Ross will transform into the Red Hulk. But, fans are, very suspicious of it, and that they think it's highly likely. Well, Captain America New World Order is set for May 3rd, 2024. So it sounds like it's going to kick off the summer movie season that year.
Okay, I'm ready.
Right? So that's all we know concretely right now about Ford joining the MCU, and, anxious to see what he does with it. All right. So that is the Ford news. Now, on to some comments that Black Adam star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson laid on us for the future of the DCEU. So when he was asked if DC is trying to emulate or take ideas from the MCU, Dwayne Johnson had this to say. He says he does not want to take any kind of bite from Marvel. He says that what they have done at Marvel is incredible, but DC does not want to be Marvel. And then, quote, what they have done is incredible, and I love those guys. They are my friends. And they are largely responsible for the economic drive of our business for almost 2 decades. So we don't want to be Marvel. We want to be DC. That's what The Rock said.
Okay, well, you could be DC, but you could pattern your success after what's worked for Marvel. Because what worked for DC isn't really working.
I mean, of course, it's been like a total roller coaster for DC and the varied success they've had in their films. I mean, Wonder Woman was successful. I think Aquaman was mostly successful. Shazam did pretty well.
Okay, is Shazam in the DCEU?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Suicide Squad, I think, was good, but it didn't perform well just because of bad timing with the pandemic and everything. So I would say that also is done. Well, I don't know if they still want to pursue the Suicide Squad though. But anyways, so The Rock said he further said that he is not and he does not want to take a bite from Marvel's apple, but he wants a new apple, claiming that DC would not copy anything from Marvel and is focusing on creating its own new era. So, I don't know. It's like The Rock seems to have a lot of influence over what they're doing at DC, and it's like, if he says that he wants to do something, that they're going to let him do it.
Yep.
Hence a certain DC star returning to the franchise in the near future. That The Rock actually convinced him to do so. Have you heard about that?
Nope.
You haven't heard about that. Okay, that's why I'm not naming names, because the old man doesn't know, and I don't want to spoil it for him.
Put it down at the bottom of the screen, and I don't watch the videos.
Well, I mean, anyone who's been following the story, they know what I'm talking about, right, guys? All right, so hopefully, if The Rock wants to, do things right at DC, hopefully, they'll continue to listen to him. All right, so that covers that story. Now, let's talk about She-Hulk. Let's talk about that finale and what fans thought about it. So, spoiler alert if you haven't watched the She-Hulk finale yet. So, the finale has been very divisive, to say the least, about what people thought about it. And it was definitely, the whole finale was a big, FU to trolls online who, try to review bomb the whole thing. And, they were very aware of, what a lot of people thought and what people were trying to say about them online. So it ends with, She-Hulk getting a big finale with, everybody showing up and punching each other in a big fight scene. And then she's like, nah, I don't want to do this. So she, destroys the fourth wall.
Yeah, she didn't just break the fourth wall. She-Hulk smashed it.
Yeah. I saw this meme yesterday that said, how in WandaVision, the episode where they're doing Modern Family, where She-Hulk or Wanda's talking to the camera, and it said, Wanda crawled so She-Hulk could soar, concerning fourth wall breaking. So she goes and meets Kevin, and I forgot what the acronym stands for, but anyways, Kevin is actually a robot. And he has a perfect success algorithm concerning Marvel projects. And she's like, perfect? And he's like, some are more perfect than others. So then, She-Hulk gives him all these different ideas about what to do with the finale. And then he's like, computating new ideas. Like, okay. And then, she asked all these questions about, X-Men and all these daddy issues in the MCU. And he's like, I can't answer all that. And he's like, see you on the big screen. And She-Hulk's like, really? No.
That was mean.
Like, that was mean to everybody, Kevin. Like, seriously. So, and then it ends with a, pretty much a happy ending with Matt Murdock showing up and also the Hulk coming back, like for real coming back this time. And then he introduces us to a new member of the family.
Spoiler alert.
Right. I said spoilers.
I know, but I'm reminding them.
Okay. So all that happened, and it was a pretty cool ending overall. So a lot of fans are saying it was a terrible ending. It was awful. Like I think one person commented on our reaction video. What did they say? They said, I think something like terrible ending, bad acting, and a few other negative things. Like it's Tatiana Maslany, so there's no such thing as bad acting when it comes to her.
I don't think she's capable of acting.
Right.
Really.
So screw you on that front. And here's the problem with, and even if they're not trying to review bomb or troll a show and just say it's bad, whether it actually was or not, here's the problem with amateur critics online. And sometimes professional critics, but mostly amateur critics, is that there's no middle ground with the show or project, movie, whatever, with a lot of people. Because with amateur critics, like so many of them, it either has to be an absolute masterpiece or a total piece of trash with nothing in between. And that's where She-Hulk falls under, and they just can't handle it. Here's the Rotten Tomato scores for She-Hulk. The critics' tomato meter, 87%. So surprisingly, the actual critics, professional critics, actually liked it, which is a little surprising. The audience score is 35%.
Oh, that's garbage.
Yeah. So, like I said, some people, they just can't handle a okay show or a pretty good show. Because if it's not perfect or it doesn't meet their exact expectations, then it's total trash.
Well, even though I don't like tons of comedy, I accepted in the first couple episodes that She-Hulk is a comedy. I mean, there's very little serious about it. Some, but for the most part, it's to make you laugh.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I thought it was very successful. The last episode, perfect last episode for a comedy show. So, quit your bitching.
Now, one bit of criticism that I thought, had some legitimacy was that the show was lacking a lot of direction throughout the season, because it was a little all over the place, because we didn't really get a resolution with Titania. I mean, her appearance in the finale, it didn't really amount to much. So before we saw her in that, it was the wedding episode, and she has that beat down at the wedding, and didn't really get a resolution to that. And then the whole thing with Josh. Oh, we never saw Josh again. That was another thing. So he didn't get his what he had coming. And so people saying lack of direction, like okay, like maybe I kind of get that, but otherwise it was a really fun show. So I think there is room for middle ground with She-Hulk. So
I liked it. I don't care who else did or didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. I hope they do a season 2.
Right. Did you like it, buddy? Yeah? You've been watching it with Mom? No? Okay. All right, so that is our She-Hulk recap and covering entertainment news. All right, so what do you say we head inside and talk comic books now?
Well, that's where it's warm, so yeah, let's go.
All right, so for our comic reviews this week, we have 5 comics we want to talk about. 4 of them ranked up in the top 4, and one of them I just wanted to mention.
All right, so you ready for the mention one?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, we're going to go with The Amazing Spider-Man number 11. Now on his cover, he's got this stupid robot, I think it's called Bug. I do not approve.
All right, so Spider-Man is working with Osborn now, of all people, and he is developing Spider-Man's suits. And one of the big things is that no tracking devices. So not sure Norman's holding up that end of the deal. Also, we see the return of the Hobgoblin. And he hasn't directly confronted Peter yet, but from this we know he's out there. One of the things that what was really noteworthy about this was Spider-Man and Felicia, Black Cat, go out on patrol together. And, they have a little discussion back and forth. And then Peter says, I'd like to ask you out first for once. And she's like, really? And, they have this little back and forth flirtation. And she's like, okay, maybe. He's like, maybe? He's like, okay, probably. And she says, thanks for taking the initiative, Peter. Confidence looks good on you. And then she leaves, she hops off the roof. And as soon as she's out of earshot, Peter's like, oh my God, I think I'm going to throw up. I'm like, I find that very relatable. And I'm like, weren't you married to Mary Jane Watson? It's like why does, no doubt, Black Cat's hot and everything, but, why does, flirting with beautiful women, scare you so much anymore?
Well, he got past the getting to know you phase with Mary Jane like that.
Right.
Because she was so aggressive.
Mm.
I mean, she took control and he didn't have to do hardly anything.
Okay. All right, so Amazing Spider-Man number 11 coming in with our mention this week at
3 shields.
3 shields out of 5. All right, now into our top 4.
All right, so as almost always, there was a tie. This was for 3rd place, which is why we have a top 4 instead of a top 5. And we've come up with all these different things to do to break the tie. We've had feats of athletic ability. And we've had board games. We flipped a coin. We've tossed coins. We've done all this stuff. And, I get a little tired trying to figure out what to do. Like last week, I just said, screw it, you do it. But this week, I was determined we would have something. But I wasn't wanting to do anything where I had to go get a game or I had to exert any effort whatsoever. So I told EMoney, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100. All you have to do is tell me if that number is odd or even. He guessed wrong. So I got to pick the 3rd and 4th place. So if you don't like the order, I don't care. I really don't. But anyway, so number 4, according to the old man, is a new book, Namor the Submariner, number 1. Now, I think it's interesting that Namor, of all the times, is getting a new comic book. How'd that happen?
Yeah, go figure on that. I don't know. All right, so Namor the Submariner, Conquered Shores, Part 1. So this is a kind of like an Elseworld story.
Yeah, it's not canon because it takes place in the future.
Right. So in this story, an alien race helped to expedite the melting of the polar ice caps.
I wonder what we did to them.
Yeah.
They were mad.
Yep. And most of the world is underwater now. So Namor, he lends what help he can to surface dwellers, but the problem is he is not king of Atlantis anymore. So he doesn't have as much influence as he used to. So for surface dwellers, there's 2 options. One, there is an underwater city, I use the term loosely.
Habitat
on the ocean floor where surface dwellers can live, and it's basically run like a refugee camp.
I mean, yeah, they're kept.
Yeah.
I mean, the Atlanteans decide if they get to eat, if they have breathable air.
But it's because of the Atlanteans they're alive at all. So
True.
And the other option is to live on what little land there is on the surface now,
where there's no food. I mean,
right.
It's terrible living conditions above ground as well as underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Human race is kind of screwed.
Yeah. So the what remaining heroes there are, they try to do the best they can. Like
they don't have much to work with.
Yeah, like Luke Cage and Captain America.
And they're not getting along real well.
Right. And, their relations with both Namor and, the rest of Atlantis is pretty strained. So, it's an interesting premise, and I'm, anxious to see where they go with it on this story. So, Namor the Submariner, Conquered Shores, #1, ends up with
3.5 shields out of 4.
3.5 out of...
And that's after we rounded it up.
3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, what you said.
Right. All right, so next up.
All right, next up. Imagine this. Frank Castle has yet another title. He already had Punisher. He had Punisher War Journal. Now he has Punisher War Journal Brother.
Mm-hmm.
#1.
All right. So what happens with Punisher here is, as we all know, he's the head of the Hand now. And the Hand, led by the Punisher, has been making some movements or making some impact in the criminal underground around the world. And a lot of people aren't liking it because, he's going, he used to be just one man. Now he's got a, small army at his beck and call.
I'm not sure how small it is.
So, terrorists, mafia bosses, smugglers, mercenaries, gang leaders, even a corrupt government or two have banded together and formed this network. And they are committed to taking out the Punisher. And they're putting the word out to everybody. Not just your hardened criminals, but like literally everybody. You get they've all pulled their resources, and anyone who gives any kind of information about Frank Castle gets pretty handsomely rewarded. Like, for example, at the beginning of this issue, Castle lands in Maribor, wherever that is, and as soon as he lands, this kid with nothing but a cell phone, he snaps a picture of Frank Castle, and they find the picture and reward $500,000.
Yeah, well, I got something to say about that. We all know what snitches get.
Well, I mean, I have to give this network credit. They promise what they they deliver what they promise.
They paid up.
Yep. So hell, I might snap a picture of Frank Castle for $500,000.
You better run.
Right? I mean, I don't have to, engage with him or anything. I just, he doesn't even know I'm there and out of there. So, for every update someone gives them while he's in Maribor, they get rewarded too. It wasn't as lucrative as the first kid because, he showed them, what country and city he was in. So that was the big money. So like this lady here who, updates, he's in the market square, she gets $250,000. So downgraded a little bit, too bad, she only gets $250,000, right?
You take that too.
Right. Okay. So, all these people are moving around taking selfies. Some people are actually trying to take a shot at him. Like this little kid, he's got a gun, and when Castle grabs the gun, the kid starts crying for mom, and mom runs up to him, and he's like, and what mom says? Mom's yelling at the kid, "Pull the trigger!" So, a lot of people gunning for him, not just the hardened criminal types. But, I told you before, Punisher doesn't work alone anymore. So the network may have realized they bit off a little more than they can chew. So, interesting, kind of exciting in this issue, satisfying in a lot of parts. Punisher War Journal Brother #1 ends up with our #3 spot with 3.5.
After it was rounded up.
Okay.
Next up, #2. And speaking of the Hand, now let's go to their counterpart, which is being visited by Daredevil and Daredevil. This is Daredevil #4.
Okay, so Daredevil and Daredevil, aka Elektra, with Foggy and Detective Cole, for some reason.
Well, he's there because Matt wanted somebody who would let him know when he was not doing the right thing.
Okay.
So he's basically
I would think Foggy was good for that, but all right.
I think Foggy's there that if he fails to do the right thing, to get him out of trouble.
Okay.
Cole's job is to keep him from getting into trouble.
All right. Seems like a balancing act. Okay, so they arrive in a foreign country and they meet up with the Fist, organization known as the Fist, not the Hand, the Fist, because that's not confusing at all.
And they run into their old teacher, Stick.
Right.
How is he not dead? I think he's died 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm. So Stick wants these two to become the new leaders of the Fist.
Yeah.
And they meet some of the new recruits that they're going to be leading, and may not have the cream of the crop here.
You know how silly this is going to get if they do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover and they have to deal with the Foot.
I saw a meme from this week's Game of Thrones where it has the Queen and her father together. And, her father's the Hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Hand and the Foot. Get it?
No.
The scene last week's episode. Guy's got the fetish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The creepy guy with the club foot.
Yeah, the Hand and the Foot. So, anyways, I digress.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So, in order for them to become the new leaders of the Fist, they gotta get hitched for some reason. So, I don't know how big a deal that's going to be. I mean, marriage issues, they, usually go for a little bit more than your average issue. So,
oh, you're talking about speculating.
Yeah, you speculators out there, you might want to pick this one up if you haven't already.
I don't know if this wedding is legal. I mean, where's their marriage license? I don't know.
Right. So, make of that information what you will. Daredevil number 4. Our number 2 pick for this week with
3.5 shields, no rounding involved.
3.5. All right. And then finally, our number 1 pick.
Number one. Now, strangely enough, we don't read the Avengers title because I'll be honest, I haven't enjoyed it lately.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked up All Out Avengers last month, and I was impressed because it skipped all the talking yakety yak setup stuff, jumped right in there on the mission already.
Mm-hmm.
Similar thing here. I don't know why they're with Dr. Doom, and what the hell is Doc doing with Cap's shield and Thor's hammer? I don't know, and they don't really explain it either.
Okay, so in this issue, like he says, it starts out Dr. Doom is with the Avengers, and they're fighting Dr. Doom.
Go figure.
So what's happening? Well, did you guys ever watch Star Trek, the original series?
Yes, I did.
Well, you might recall an episode where Kirk is split into 2 bodies. You have his evil's a little strong word, but dark side and malicious side over here, and then his conscience and everything good about Kirk over here. And this Kirk doesn't have his pain and his mistakes and all that stuff that he carries with him. This one doesn't, but that's all he has. And so it's like, good and evil have been separated. Well, that's what happens here with Doom. So Light Doom, as they dubbed him, is working with the Avengers and Dark Doom without having any, inhibitions and conscience, whatever that may have been in the past, is completely gone now. And he's working towards achieving his ultimate goals. So that happens. And also, in this issue, I noticed that they make She-Hulk a pretty prominent member of the Avengers. So, no idea why that's happening. Also, Blade is playing a big part. I mean, Blade has really stepped up in recently in Avengers comics. Like, before he used to be sort of a side character. Now he's like a...
He might show up working with the Midnight Suns or something like that, but
right.
Avengers out in broad daylight?
Yeah, now he's like an A-list member of the Avengers. So, there's that, and also, the old man mentioned how it just sort of pops in, like right in the middle of a story. Well, it turns out that's not just a plot device. It could be a plot device. And see, what happens is someone starts to notice, like, the whatever happened before we start reading. they start to like, hey, Tony, how did we get here?
They don't know how Doom's carrying the shield and hammer either.
Yeah, how did this all get started? And Tony is like the memories are there. I know they're there, but it's like I can't access them. And then he tells his suit AI to go back and retrieve the footage from the last 48 hours, and his suit says that the footage has been deleted. And then Tony's like, okay, this could be a problem. So obviously there's a point to, starting in the middle of these last two issues. So All Out Avengers #2, our #1 pick for this week with
4 shields after we rounded it up.
4 rounded up. All right, so there's our picks for last week's comics. Now on to this week's comics. What do we have coming up?
We've had a few light and average weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this coming week, that ends. That's over.
None of that, huh?
We have a huge list of comics we're getting. That being said, there's 3 direct Bat books that have the name Batman in the title.
Okay.
One's Batman One Bad Day, the Penguin. I hope they can capture the enjoyment that I got from the first One Bad Day, which was the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
Two-Face was good, but the Riddler was killer.
Right.
So I'm hoping they can do that again with the Penguin. Of course, you got DC versus Vampires, Deceased, War of the Undead Gods. Our boy Gunslinger Spawn is back with issue number 13.
All right.
Zdarsky's Public Domain, number 5 comes out. You've got, from Marvel, a new Spider-Man title. Spidey Goes to Los Angeles, and this title is called Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Okay.
Curious to see where that goes, and if it does tie in with the other titles that are coming out. You've got a Captain America title, but the one that I'm excited about that you may not be digging as much as me is somebody, I don't know what publisher, it's not Marvel or DC or Image, is putting out a Night of the Living Dead comic. Now, supposedly, it follows the original movie, and they throw in some, you know how they added stuff to The Hobbit when they made the movies?
Sure.
They're going to do the same thing with Night of the Living Dead. They're going to add some stuff.
Okay.
So,
hopefully it's more successful than the Hobbit editions were.
Okay, well, I'm pumped.
Okay.
So, any rate, bunch of stuff coming out.
All right, so get them at your local comic book shop now. All right, so that is comic books for this week. Now, let's take a look at what you can expect at this week's pop-up shop and whatnot. All right, guys, so this coming Saturday, this is it. This is the big blowout sale. Our final...
Whoa. You act like we're going to be heavily discounting stuff.
No, we're not. I mean, we always have great deals, but we're not going to be giving the store away.
Forget he said blowout.
All right, so this Saturday is our final pop-up shop of the season, and we're going to be, it's October the 22nd, and it's going to be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we're going to have comic books, toys, DVDs, Blu-rays like we always have. But we're not going to be back again in the garage until April of next year, late April of next year.
Or May.
Possibly May.
Depends on the weather.
Right.
So, 6 months.
Yeah.
Half a year before the pop-up shop opens again.
So, you need to come out and check out all of our deals.
Last chance, unless you catch us at a convention.
Right, which we're going to get to in a little bit here. All right, so what are we going to have at the pop-up shop? Well, we have some new comics. Like we told you guys, we have new comics coming in every week.
Every week.
Yeah.
Never miss.
So we have all kinds of new stuff for you guys. So just to show you a few here. First up, this just came in. We have Spectacular Spider-Man #1. And and features the return of the the return of the tarantula.
You all right?
Yeah.
Man, blowing up.
So we got that. Then we got another spectacular for you. The Spectacular Spider-Man #90. And what's special about this one? It is the second appearance of Spider-Man's black suit. So the Secret Wars is obviously the first appearance, correct? This was the second one right here.
Now, there is some debatable stuff. There's another book that came out the same day. I forget which one it is, but,
Right. Okay, so we have those. And A couple things that are really popular right now due to She-Hulk and everything. First up, we have Incredible Hulk number 282, and this is the first Hulk She-Hulk team-up issue. So first time we see them fighting alongside each other. And then another thing for you She-Hulk fans out there, this is World War.
If you haven't watched the last episode of She-Hulk, you probably want to not listen to this because this is a major spoiler. And go.
All right. So here we have World War Hulk number 5, and what this one is, it is the first cameo appearance of Scar, Hulk's son. So that's a really cool one to have for your collection there. So all these and much more are going to be available this Saturday, only this Saturday. Well, that's not true, but
we'll get back to that.
Right. This is going to be your last chance to get them at the pop-up shop until next spring.
And this will be the last time that we have our whole comic book inventory on display. We won't be taking our dollar books to conventions, and we probably won't be taking our front line, which anything over $1 and under $10, that stuff probably won't make a convention. We're only going to take what we call our good books, stuff that's $10 or more.
So you want the full inventory, you got to come this Saturday, or you're not going to see it again until April, or possibly May. Spring. We'll just say spring. All right, so those are the new comic books. Now, give you guys some idea of what we have for our toys. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, you got to come to the pop-up shop, or else you might not see some of this stuff again. Because, first up, we have Maximum Carnage 10-inch figure right there, and you know what's super popular on Whatnot? Carnage. Yeah, we had a Carnage triple threat box. It had Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage together, regular size 6-inch figures. And I thought that I had a price tag for $15. I thought maybe that was a little underpriced, so I started the bidding on that on Whatnot last Sunday at $20. And you know how much it ended up selling for?
How much, EMoney?
$50.
Woo!
$50. Everything Carnage related that we put up on Whatnot, that sells.
So this is going to be at the pop-up shop this Saturday.
And you know what? If it doesn't sell Saturday, it might end up going on Whatnot. Because
and it'll be gone.
Yeah, because not only do they sell, but people get into a bidding war over them usually. So, get it while you can. All right, so then next up we have this one, Marvel's Greatest Moments, and this is Dark Phoenix and Cyclops. And it includes a trading card of Uncanny X-Men number 136 cover, and it is the death of Dark Phoenix in that issue.
Yes.
Okay. So it has all that. Now, we had a guy come into the store and buy a couple figures from us last week, and then he says, I've been looking for this one. And I was like, well, why didn't you buy it then? So
I'm guessing you ran out of money.
Probably so. So
maybe we'll be back this week.
So get it while you can. It's that guy could come back for it. All right. So then finally, and this is kind of a lead in to what I'm going to be talking about next. I have from our horror movie icons, I have Bride of Chucky figure set. And it includes Chucky, of course, and Tiffany, that's her name, from Bride of Chucky. Now, this has been on our table for a while now, and no one's come to claim it, although some people thought it was really cool. So,
if it hits Whatnot, it's gone.
Right. Well, it might not get to Whatnot, because if it doesn't sell Saturday, you know where it's going?
Where are you, money?
It's going to the Creature Feature show, which is next weekend. Next weekend, we're going to be at the Creature Feature convention, and I'll just throw it up on the screen here. And it's going to be our final live sale for a while, because we just signed up for another show in December, and I'll talk about that in a second here. So Creature Feature is going to be in Shepherdsville, and it's going to be Saturday and Sunday that weekend, the weekend of Halloween. And of course, because it's Halloween weekend, we're going to be bringing a lot of our horror stuff. So all of our McFarlane horror figures that you guys have had a chance to buy at the pop-up shop that have been sitting around, they're going to come with us to the Creature Feature show, and we're going to bring a lot of our other horror stuff and a lot of our bigger items that we don't usually sell on Whatnot.
Because they don't want to ship them.
Right. So we're going to be bringing all that stuff to the Creature Feature show, so you guys need to grab it while you can. All right. So, like I said, Creature Feature is going to be the Halloween weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then our next show that is not Whatnot, our next live show is going to be in December. We just signed up for it this past week. We are going to the Louisville Con. And that's going to be a one-day show, December 10th. And, it's going to be in J-Town. So, if you can't make it out to the Creature Feature, be sure to come by for the Louisville Con in J-Town. And, probably going to have the same basic setup as we're going to have at Creature Feature. We're going to bring...
We don't have as much table space, so...
Right.
Maybe not.
Well, I mean, we got 2 booths, so it's going to be...
Well, at Shepherdsville, we got 2 8-foot tables. In J-Town, we only have 2 6-foot
6-foot tables, okay. So, might have to make some choices there. But we're going to bring our good books and, a lot of our bigger items, toys that we don't sell on Whatnot.
We're also going to bring some of our more expensive toys that we have never had out for sale.
Right. And also, keep in mind that, we're not selling comic books on Whatnot. We only sell toys on Whatnot right now. So, between the end of the Creature Feature show, which is the end of October, and the start of December, we're going to have a chance to build up our comic inventory.
Oh, we will build it up.
Yeah, so we're going to have some all-new stuff between those 2 dates. So, be on the lookout for that. And we'll give you guys a preview in the weeks leading up to it, probably. All right, so there's all that. Now on to the Whatnot show. And Whatnot is going to be this Sunday. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for our Whatnot auction this week, we're fulfilling a lot of requests because, every week we ask people, if you have a request for next week's show, let us know about it. And if we have it in our inventory, we'll try and bring it. So we got a lot of responses this past week. So let you guys know what you can expect at this week's Whatnot. All right, so first up, a guy requested some G.I. Joe figures. Well, we have a couple G.I. Joes in our inventory. We have some of the, 3.5 inch? Is that what they are?
The small ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a couple 3.5 inch figures, so we're going to put those up. And then also we have the larger figures that are in our inventory, so we're going to put those up.
6-inch toys?
Yeah. Yeah, bigger, something like that. So we're going to have G.I. Joe. Somebody requested Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We don't have as many of those. We don't have anything original from the original series. But we do have a couple of loose Ninja Turtles figures. And the guy said, he'd still be interested even if they're loose. So, we'll bring a couple of those. Next up, guy, oddball request. He requested Beetlejuice. And he's like, you don't have any Beetlejuice figures, do you? And I'm like, actually, we do.
We don't have Beetlejuice himself, though.
No. We have 2 figures, at least 2 figures, from the Beetlejuice movie. So we're going to be bringing those.
Is it from the animated cartoon show or the movie?
I think it's from the movie.
Okay.
Then a guy requested Double Impact, which was a little surprising because haven't had a whole lot of luck with Double Impact figures.
Well, that guy bought every one we had at the auction.
Mm-hmm. So then another guy requested video game action figures, and I'm like, we got quite a few of those. So all those, or a couple of those video game action figures that haven't sold at the pop-up shop, I'm pulling those. I'm pulling a couple of those, and I'm putting them in the Whatnot inventory for this week. Then we're going to be selling a couple Spawn figures. And then finally, one guy asked for different types of Wolverines that we might have, and we got a couple of those as well. So, like we said, we're fulfilling a lot of requests here, and we'll have other stuff in there as well. Oh, did you put that in? You didn't put horror figures in on here. You need to add that.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to take horror figures to Shepherdsville, or if you wanted to sell them on
Well,
whatnot.
we got a couple of doubles that has been sitting around in the bin, so I'm gonna, grab those and I'm gonna put them in the whatnot sale. So we're gonna have horror figures at Creature Feature and have a few on the whatnot auction. All right?
Well, right now, Thor is probably tearing the garage apart.
Yeah, probably so.
We need to get back up there.
All right, so come out for all the fun. Pop-up shop, Creature Feature show, whatnot, and Louisville Con in December. Gonna have a lot of fun. All right, guys, we'll see you on some of those. Now let's go upstairs with Thor. All right, back out here in the garage with Thor, and I came up with a challenge this week. One internet video, I think it was Instagram, they want to see what happens when they just stare at their dog. Like, no commands, no words, no faces, you just stare.
Okay, what do you anticipate happening?
He'll probably lick my face, or ignore me altogether. But let's see. This is our doggy challenge video of the week. Okay. Is that what happens when you get too much attention?
Hey, get back. Come on. Scritchies.
Good boy.
Come on. Down.
All right, that is going to wrap up this week's episode. Did you have fun, boy? You always have fun here, right? Okay, so next week, or I should say this coming Saturday, our last show of the season, and then a week from Saturday, we're doing our big blowout for Creature Feature show in Shepherdsville.
You hope it's a big blowout.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, hopefully, get a lot of people there, a lot of people show up. Gonna be a fun time. All right, so hope we see you guys at both of them. All right, hope you guys had a good time, and we'll see you on the next one. Excelsior.
True believers, I don't know what to think about the last show of the season. I really don't. I mean, like I said before, it'd be nice to have Saturday mornings free. But some of our regular customers, I probably miss them.
Oh.
No, I won't. Screw you guys. I'm out.